Go. Hi there. Hi everyone, how are you? Okay, sorry. Karen's having some technical difficulties, so I am going to be doing all the talking tonight, but you won't have to just look at me talking the whole time, so I'll get my... She's just having a sip of her wine because we've had an interesting half an hour. Her microphone is not working, and so she can't talk to you herself tonight, but she's invited me here to talk to you about marketing plans for your business. So I'm going to talk through, not necessarily in a traditional sense, because I do have a download that you can download that's got a structured marketing plan template, and it's probably something that you're all quite aware of. And it does give you a really good roadmap for your business, but I want to try and go a little bit deeper tonight and inspire you to think a little bit more about your marketing and how fundamental it is for your business. So just let me pop over and share my PowerPoint presentation with you. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to be the technical whiz here. So just give me a second. I'm trying to actually start my presentation for you. Okay. I'm not sure if that's actually working. So Karen, can you see my marketing plan slides? Sorry guys, just bear with me for a second. Okay, I'm just wondering, Karen, if you can actually, can you see my slides? Okay, I'm just going to start. I'm just going to start talking and hope that it's working. All right, so let me just talk a little bit about what it's working. You can see my slides. Okay, good. Okay, good. Sorry, I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, so at the moment, I'll just run through really quickly what we're going to talk about. I know it's getting late, so I will talk as quickly as I can, but I'll promise to speak clearly. I'll just talk a little bit about what my philosophy on marketing is, talk about starting with the heart and how important I think it is not to lose sight of why you actually start your business when you're talking about your marketing plan. A little bit about your ideal customer, which Karen's got that one pretty much nailed, so it's not something I'm going to talk about for a long time. The importance of really defining what business you're in. A little bit about your brand, and just some thoughts about what to do if you're not feeling very unique and you might be finding a little bit difficult to describe what your unique value proposition is. A short word about the competition and just touch on customer experience and loyalty. Talk about objectives and strategy and the fact that that is your plan and that is actually clarity for you in your business. And then just a final little word from me. So the reason I talk about starting with the heart, well, first of all, let me just talk to you a little bit about what my philosophy on marketing is. I always look at marketing as just a conversation with your people. It's always about being honest. It's always about being truthful and authentic and genuine. I think that it's honestly just about building a relationship with your customers, with your community, with your tribe, whatever you want to call them. And it's a mutually beneficial and rewarding relationship that thrives on two-way communication. And I think that's a really important thing that I like to talk to people about all the time, because the two-way communication is so important. It's not about force or manipulation, and it's about striving to help your customers feel, have, do, see, hear, get whatever they actually want or need from you. And when you talk to your customers, you need to have a genuine interest in them, not only by being driven by making money, but of course I get that that's why we're all in business, but by really actually wanting to help them and by having something that you know is a valuable addition to their lives. Okay, so the reason that I say start with the heart is because I think that a lot of people listening here would know what I mean with that. I do believe in having a heart-centered approach when it comes to developing your marketing strategy, and I know a lot of people actually think that maybe you can't be heart-centered and be strategic at the same time, but I'm a big believer in that. So when I say have a heart-centered approach, I think that it's really, really important that you do this, and also that you don't lose sight of strategy, because it is very important. Very, very important. No matter how long and complex or short and sweet your marketing strategy is, you do need to have some clarity to build momentum in your business. So when I say start with the heart, think about these kind of questions. Think about what your passion is, what drives you, what stirs you up inside that you want to share with people, what is your why and what matters to you. Think about substance and think about soul, and make sure all of this is the starting point of all of your marketing and communications, because this is what will help you find your brand's tone of voice and express yourself in a way that's unique to only you. When you start from this very real place, you'll find that you're speaking to the right people for you and for your business and for your brand, and it'll be so much easier to be beautifully engaging and attractive to them, because you'll be finding words inside you that can actually capture all the sentiments that allow you to focus on starting with the heart. I always tell people to watch the Simon Sinek TED Talk, Start With Why. I'm guessing a lot of people here have already watched it, and I know that Karen has shared it before, but I love it. So when you're thinking about your business, I think that, you know, it's really important to think about that why aspect, why you exist, why you're doing what you're doing. But I guess too, really importantly, it's not only about your heart, it's about the heart of your ideal customer and about what their dreams and their desires are, their needs, their wants, whatever you want to call it. This is just as important for you when you're building your business, and this is your compass that will point you in the right direction if you start to lose your way. So many brands and businesses, you know, big corporates that have, you know, millions of dollars worth of market research lose sight of this. But I think once you lose sight of your customer, you might as well not be in business. And, you know, I know that Karen talks a lot about customer love, and I think it's just such a brilliant thing to be able to understand and articulate all those beautiful things that are so important about your customer. So I do think it's really important to define what business you're in. And I think that, you know, the Simon Sinek talk can actually help you with that, because the business that you're in is not actually just about literally what business you're in. It's also about what you're actually satisfying for your customers. So, for example, you know, a massage therapist might be in the business of, yes, she's a massage therapist, but also she's in the business of well-being and relaxation. It's about making people feel good. It's not only just about defining really, really clearly what you're doing so that you and your customers can never be confused about what your purpose is, but you need to understand what benefit you're actually fulfilling for your customers. So start by answering these questions. Why do you exist? What are you doing? What are you offering? Yes, what industry you're in, but come back to the why. And that'll help you to formulate a really clear business definition. And I know that some of this probably sounds a little bit dry, but I'm a big believer, as you can imagine, in the roadmap for your business. And I think that, you know, the more clear you can be, the more your customers will actually understand the business. I've just seen Makita's notes on my note on my screen saying that the slides aren't advancing. I don't actually have a lot of slides. So the slide that I'm up to at the moment is what business are you in? And now I'm moving on to your brand. So hopefully that's working. Karen, let me know on Facebook if that's not working for you. Just a bit about your brand. Now, okay. I'm going to escape out of this. Escape. And I'm going to go back to, sorry everyone, just getting a little bit confused. You can see the slides. Can't see me flipping through them. So can you see the brand slide now? Okay. I think that I'm just waiting for a note from Lisa's sounding good. Thanks, Anne. That's great. I'm glad. I'm not sure why it's not working. So the slides are up to your brand. So maybe I'll just keep talking and I'll keep flicking through as long as you can all hear me. I hope that you can hear me. And we'll just keep moving on that. So I think that I want to talk about your brand. Now, I know that a lot of people here are aware of this, but it's important to emphasize that it is so much more than just your logo. It's the whole personality of your business. I don't want to get too deep here, but your brand can be represented in every single aspect of your business that invokes any of the senses or any feelings or emotions about you and your brand and your business. I'm super passionate about the importance of your brand. I love it. I've worked for years in roles that have been responsible for building some very big brands, but that's the reason I love it, because it's actually not that hard to build a brand that has a whole lot of meaning to you as well as to your customers. And I think that that's just as important, because if you need to show people the passion that you have for your business and your brand, then it will all come through in your branding. I think it's good to be really clear about what you stand for and be really, really, really consistent. So it's about that whole concept of synergy, or what the impact of 1 + 1 = 3. So if you're representing your brand in the same way every single time at every single customer touch point, then the impact of it is far greater than if you are representing it inconsistently or in a confusing way. You don't want to dilute your message by doing that. And to do that, you've got to define your brand really clearly for you and for anyone else that's involved in your brand. If the customer doesn't understand what you are, what you believe in, what you represent, then it's hard for them to have an affinity with your brand. So what I say to my clients is that you really want them saying, I totally get my brand, I believe them, I believe what they believe in, and I trust them. They're my kind of brand, and they're a brand for me. Love brands. Love brands. Okay, so now I'm up to the whole concept of the unique value proposition. I do get stuck into the more traditional elements of the marketing plan because I think that they are really important, but I don't necessarily have the same approach that I would have. I don't necessarily have a very dry approach. So what I say to entrepreneurs and micro business owners when they're trying to work out what's actually unique about them, and they might be struggling a bit, is that it is, I understand, hard to articulate sometimes what's unique about you and your business, but you've got to remember that no one else can be you. And I think that this is one of the best things for all of us about being an entrepreneur, is that you, the actual person, is so important and relevant when you're thinking about what's unique about your brand. So, I mean, it may not always be easy. If you're the life coach, the designer, marketer, architect, you are actually a big part of this uniqueness. Your style, think about all of these things: your style, your personality, your language, your body, your attitude, your gift, your looks, your love, your passion. The list is almost endless, but that just demonstrates to you that it's not that hard to find something that's unique, because there's no one else in the world like you. I want to talk a little bit about competitors, and I was really tempted to put a picture of a really hot guy here, but I didn't know whether that was going to be appropriate. So I've just put a girl playing sport here. What I say to people about your competitors is it is important to be aware of your competitors, probably mostly from the perspective of what you think they might mean to your customers. I think that for me, it's important to be aware, but it's very important that you don't obsess over them. Understand what they're offering, understand how, you fit in the market next to them, but I really want you not to obsess over them, because everyone has something that's unique, and that's why I say it's so important to define whatever that is. Make sure that you can articulate what that is, and there is something. I've said this before, and I think Karen and I might have even spoken about it in the last hangout, but I actually think you should not only not look at your competitors as a bad thing, but think about how you might be able to collaborate with them to have an even bigger impact on your ideal customer. I'm wondering if the slides are advancing yet, because I really like my slides. Okay, so I do want to talk a little bit about the customer experience and loyalty and how important it is. When you think about your customer experience, think about it from the point of view of every single touch point that they have with your brand. So anywhere they experience your brand. So it's not just as you hand over the product to them, but it's also any kind of customer service they have from the very first moment that they come across you, whether it's in social media, online, whether they hear about you through another person, wherever it is, right up to the point where they actually will transact with you, and every point beyond that. Think about the customer experience and, how everything you're doing is making them feel. I think that it can be really, really easy to fall into the trap of thinking that the sale is over, whatever's happened, or, maybe the coaching period has ended. Whatever it is, your relationship with them, will have an impact far beyond when the actual purchase takes place, and for a long time in the lead up to that. I've had clients work with me after signing up to my newsletter 12 months ago, and I haven't actually been in business for that long. So, it's really, really important that you treat them with the respect that they want, that they deserve, and that they need from you. I like to talk about customer loyalty here too, because I think that it's important for people to realise that loyalty is a two-way street. So often people think about loyalty, creating customer loyalty, that it's all about them being loyal to you, but it's equally important for you to be loyal to your customers, and don't forget that that's about two-way communication. As entrepreneurs and small business owners, we've got a huge advantage when it comes to one-to-one communications with your customers. Massive advantage, which is fantastic. And by that, I mean, we can actually really, really communicate with them on an individual basis, and not just under the pretext of one-to-one communication. So, I guess I don't mean email all of your customers in broadcast media style. Someone online recently suggested something that actually I thought was such an amazing idea, and if I had the time, I would totally do it. What about actually getting into your email list and emailing one by one all of your customers? Now, that would be very, very difficult to do, but you could pull out a sample of customers from your database, ones that are interacting and reading, and send them individual emails. I think that it's really, really important that you take advantage of the situation that we're in as entrepreneurs, where you genuinely do know a lot of your customers. And what I say to people is that it's really important that you discover what value means for your ideal customer, and you've got to give it to them. You have to cherish the relationship that you have with them. Know them, understand them, never forget what they bought from you, and thank them for being with you. Surprise, delight, blow their mind with the fact that you really do care, and make them feel special. Even if they've never bought anything from you, they are still your potential customer. So it's really, really important that they know that you're there for them, as in really, really there for them, not just pretending. So take care of them enough. Things will take care of themselves. Okay, so I know I'm rushing through this now. So your marketing objectives. So here's the deal. This slide here is about marketing objectives, and it's got a big picture of a girl sticking up a sign that says profit on it, because these are the realities of business, and it's very important that you have very clear objectives for your business, and that includes financial objectives. I am pretty, adamant that you can't move forward if you don't have clear goalposts in your business, and setting your objectives that are very, very clear, that are realistic, but that are always a stretch, but not something that you can't achieve, because that's just disheartening and that'll just annoy you. I was just trying to remember whether I could swear or not. But, do something that pushes you, do something that really motivates you to achieve it, and, set your profit goals, set what your customer goals are, get really clear on what your objectives are for your business. And your marketing strategy. Your marketing strategy is the roadmap for your business, and this is all about clarity. It's all about clarity, and I think that it's so important to actually. Oh, don't know what I'm doing there. Sorry, guys. It's just so important that people understand that if you have that kind of clarity and that roadmap for your business, that your every single day will feel better. I think that it is really important to think about your life and when you're growing and creating a business, about it all in the context of your actual lifestyle. So I think that sorry, I'm just checking out a message from Karen. Oh, sorry. I'm just going to finish off with one final word from me. What I want to do is just help you to understand that creating a marketing plan doesn't have to be this massive thing that's just a hideous thing that you don't want to do. It's just about creating a roadmap and getting really clear and helping you to find your focus. Questions that I want you to answer at the very least to create a plan is: what's important to you? How do you want to feel? What do you want to be known for? What do you want your children to see you as? And does your business fit with your lifestyle? Does your marketing reflect what's important to you personally? Don't create something and try and be something that you're not, because if you feel that it jars with you, it will jar even more with your customers. Create a vision and share it with people that will encourage you on your path to achieving this vision. Your friends, your best friend, your mum, your sister, your husband, whoever that person is for you, put it out there and let people know what you're trying to achieve. Don't be, don't ever feel like you're on your own, because you're never on your own. And take action. Don't wait for perfect. Don't wait for someone else's approval. Don't wait for a magic sign, because actually it's not coming. And just to encourage you and say you'll absolutely get there, and it'll be so worth it. And if there are doubters in your world, I really wanted to play for you the Muhammad Ali Impossible is Nothing video, and it talks to this point. If there are doubters in your world, then the best thing that you can possibly do is actually achieve the goals that you set out to. And I won't get into mindset, I promise, Kara, but I do love it, and I feel passionate about this. And if fear creeps up and starts to hold you back, just acknowledge that beast, because it's there with us all the time, and keep moving forward. Just don't let it stop you. Just take one step at a time, and just stay focused on your vision and stay you, because I think that the life that you love is possible by creating a business that you love, and marketing and business planning is definitely part of that. So it can be a heart-centered and strategic plan. And that's it from me. And now I'm just realizing too that Karen can't actually talk. So maybe I think it probably would be, does anyone have any questions for me that they want to put up into the Facebook group? I've just seen Sarah. Let me know, guys, if you've got any questions. And if you don't have any questions right now, then we can put them up. I'm just laughing at Sarah's. We can put them up in, I can answer them afterwards. So whatever you guys want to do, it's completely up to you. I'm back. Okay. I'm just checking out here. Karen, do you want me to keep waiting for questions from anyone? Okay. I can see one coming up. So Makita's just asked, I'm new at business, so not really sure what elements should be included in my marketing plan. I actually think the most important, it's really, really clear. It's really important that you get a really good handle on who your customer is, and who actually, oh, sorry, now I'm getting confused. Okay, I need to stop looking at the Facebook questions coming through. Makita, you've got to get really clear on who your customer is, and you do need to outline what your objectives are and what you're actually trying to achieve. Get really clear on what you want your brand to mean to people. I think that, your objectives, you have to have objectives. You've got to work out what's important for you to achieve in your business, particularly if you're new in business. Work out, where it sits within your lifestyle, what financial objectives you need to achieve to actually make it a really very, very realistic proposition. I think it's not so much about taking elements out of the marketing plan, but it's about just keeping it really simple. Even if it ends up being a 2-page document that answers all the questions, you should try and include as much as you can, but just keep it simple rather than taking out particular topics, because they're all pretty important. Karen's question, Kate, as far as working out a strategic plan, would you suggest we start with 1 month or 1 quarter? I think if you're talking about, okay, so here I would differentiate between a strategic marketing plan or a communications plan. So, I think that if you are talking about a strategic plan, actually I do believe it's something that you need to focus on at least a 12-month period. But if you're talking about a marketing communications plan, then you can absolutely break that down into month by month. And if you're looking at it on a quarter basis, then I think that's a good place to start from a communications perspective, because then you can see and map it all out in an Excel spreadsheet. Then you can see visually what you're actually going to be talking about, and make sure that all your marketing comms is actually consistent. So, for example, if your focus for the month of July is marketing, like Karen's is, then every single thing that she's going to do during that month is going to be relevant to that. And I think that has to go for at least a 3-month period. But when we're talking about a strategic marketing plan, I think that genuinely has to be go for a year. Karen's blog post was brilliant, really helped. Not sure if there's anything else you should keep in mind. All Karen's blog posts are brilliant, Makita, but I'm not quite sure which one you're talking about there. Okay, Anne, how do you be authentic and strategic as well? I'm fine with authentic, but strategic doesn't sit right with me. So am I being authentic, or is it strategic that something I just need to learn? I think I wrote a post about this recently, and the title of it was "Strategy is not a dirty word." I think that, strategy is not that complicated. Being strategic is about being, and I've got no doubt that you are already these things. Being strategic is about being considered, being thoughtful, and being planned, rather than ad hoc and sporadic in your approach. So I would probably guess that you are all of those things already. I think that, don't let that word strategy make you feel like I think people sometimes feel like it's a very corporate word. It's very, it's the same with the word consultant. It can be seen as, Allen Hamilton or whatever it is, KPMG strategy. Strategy doesn't have to be complex. I think it's really important that actually you keep it as simple as is relevant for your business. There's no point in us, for our smaller businesses, building hugely complex strategies that are going to be meaningless to us, number one, or meaningless to anyone else that we need to share it with. That's what I say to people when they ask about being strategic. Just be thoughtful and be considered, and definitely try and be planned in your approach. Okay, so Makita's just talking about the difference between a strategic plan and a communications plan. Yeah, I mean, I always talk about the overall marketing strategy, and within that is one element that is the marketing communications plan, and there's a whole lot around that sits around that. I can't see any other questions. I am just laughing at Sarah's comment about it's not so good with streaming to the moon and back. She doesn't want me to explode her satellite dish, so I'm not really sure what that means, but I think that you'll be able to watch this afterwards at some stage. So does anyone else have any more questions at all? I guess I probably would just encourage you not to be deterred by the whole terminology of a marketing plan. For some people, a marketing plan might be a whole lot of circles on a page, and in actual fact, that might be just exactly what you need for your business. But just to do something rather than nothing, because the difference it will make in your whole life, because of the clarity that it will bring you, is huge. So it doesn't have to be some big beast that is just so unachievable that you never actually do it. But just do something. Okay, Karen, did you want me to sign off? I wish I could speak for you, but I can't, unfortunately. I can't see any more questions from anyone at the moment. Okay, Rose, yes, all right. How to get new clients. Okay, so I think that, so I had this described to me this way recently from someone else, and I love this thinking. Everything that you do in your marketing, every single piece of communication that you do, every single thing that you do for your business is all about obviously getting more clients. And one of the great ways to describe this is you have to make sure that what you're doing is bringing people closer to you, bring your right people closer to you rather than pushing them away. And that means getting really clear on all these aspects of your marketing plan. So your brand, your uniqueness, your ideal customers and who they are, making sure that you understand them and what they need, what they want, and how you can actually give them something that's, exactly what they want, what they need, and even if, people talk about giving people what they think, what they don't even know they need. And I personally actually find that a little bit confusing, because I think, well, you know what, that's a little bit hard. And if I said that to my clients, you have to give your customers what they don't even know that they need, that actually is not very practical. So I probably would bring it back to basics to answer that question. How to get more clients? Make sure that you are, staying in touch with potential clients. Never discount anyone that you think is never going to work with you, even though you'd love them to. Build relationships. Be genuine in your communications all the time, and keep the dialogue open. Make sure that you're open to two-way conversation with your customers, and just understanding that concept of loyalty being a two-way street. So as much as you want customers to be loyal to you, it's also about you being loyal to them. And being consistent, Rose, I think, is probably consistent with your marketing, something that I've had to learn to do myself, to do a better job of. And I think I can't emphasize enough how much consistency will actually help to create the flow of customers and clients to you. I'm not sure what your business is actually, Rose. Sorry. I might have a look for some specific examples for you. Yeah, look, I mean, I think that everything that I've spoken about today is all about, ultimately, it's about getting customers. So I hope that has helped you. Photographer, you're a photographer, Rose. So, for you, I guess probably, I think for you, it would be really important for you to, I can see some of your pictures. I'm just looking at your Facebook page now. Make sure that you are really, really clear on what your photos look fantastic. They look fantastic. I think that, just be really clear and don't be afraid to communicate what you feel is different and unique about you. And that's the kind of thing that will start to attract customers that you want straight to you. Okay. Karen. I have this fear that whenever I try to promote Cassie's question, okay, I have this fear that whenever I try to promote any of my products to my list or service, that people will unfollow, dislike, throw tomatoes at me. I know that this is all about my mindset and I believe in myself and what I have to offer. So I guess it was fall in the category of what I find the hardest to do about marketing. I think this is such an important question, and so many people ask me this question. I think that this is all about making sure, Cassie, that you are always, always being you and never trying to be someone else, because as long as you know in your heart that you can actually genuinely help people and that the service that you have to offer is actually going to add value to your life, and that the conversations that you're having with them are only ever going to be talking about things that genuinely add value to their life. You're never going to be selling them in a sleazy way and in a way that we all feel, a little bit scared of doing, because you're always going to be genuinely telling them about something that you honestly believe can help them. And one way I say to my clients to deal with this is just imagine if you didn't tell anyone about what you actually did. Think about all those people that would actually be missing out on the benefit of working with you. I think that obviously you're not going to be all about the sell. Like I have this too. I've sent in the last 2 weeks, I've sent two of my emails, and they have been very focused on something that I'm doing, selling, and it's really bothered me. So you're totally not alone with that. But I think that it's all about just being really authentic. And I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but as long as you're genuinely talking to them about something that you know will help them, it's all good. You're actually doing something, and your right people they'll hear you, and if they don't need you now, they'll come back to you when they need you. And if people throw tomatoes at you, you've just got to, don't worry about it. Just water off a duck's back, because it will happen, and people will unsubscribe, and you just don't have to worry about it because they're not the right person for you anyway. Okay. Are you getting any more questions, Karen? I'm just conscious that I did speak very quickly then, so if anyone does have any other questions after we jump off, then feel free to put them in the okay. So this question is being consistent. It's freaking hard and exhausting. Yes. And not getting distracted by the newest shiny thing. Look, I think that I would encourage anyone that's asking this to read any of Stephen Pressfield's books. Turning Pro or Do the Work are two fantastic books, and they really hit home to me that actually I wasn't trying to create a business hanging out on Facebook, as much as I would love to do that, or actually Pinterest probably would be my preference. I think that being consistent is about doing as much as you possibly can, doing what you know that you need to do. But if you get to a point where you're actually just so, for example, for the last week, I have virtually not been on social media. And I could berate myself about that because actually that's not good, as we all know. But in actual fact, I've just decided that towards the end of last week that I was just going to give it a miss and come back to it this week. So the fact is that you can't always be perfect. This is a sticky note that I've got up on my, I don't know if you can see that, but it actually says, are you being consistent? This is my note to myself because this is my biggest problem. Are you being consistent? I think that once you see that the rewards start to flow when you are consistent, that it's easier to stick to the program. But we all are entrepreneurs and we're all working in our own business. So the reality is that there are times when we need to be flexible, and you can't beat yourself up when you don't achieve what you've set out to achieve. It's just a matter of making sure that doesn't stop you in your tracks, and keep moving forward and keep taking action as much as you can. Not getting distracted by the newest shiny thing. Look, I did that for a long time, and I think that there is actually a time and a place for that in business, but only you know when the right time is to actually pull the pin on the latest e-course. And it's probably after you've bought approximately 5 that you've done nothing with, is the time to actually stop buying that e-course. But, new things are good. I think that if you're always also monitoring your goals throughout each month, and you're not on track to achieve financial goals, that's possibly something that can help you get back on track. Consistency is just something, it's about discipline, it's about, working, surrounding yourself with people that will help nudge you forward, help keeping you, lovingly nudge you forward when you need it. That's why groups like the Building Site are so good. It's about surrounding yourself with people that can support you as much as it is about being disciplined yourself and just not being too hard on yourself when you don't achieve everything that you set out to achieve. But that's the theory. The more consistent you are, the more reward you'll get. The last one, the hardest thing, coming up with ideas. I love doing mind maps. I love doing mind maps, and I don't know, Karen, if you theoretically do them, but I know you actually do them because I've seen your pictures of your mind maps, but I don't know if that's what you're intentionally doing. But a lot of I do a bit of mind mapping because I'm not someone who can on the spot think about ideas, bang, bang, bang. Generally, all my ideas start to come to me about 5 minutes after I've left a conversation where someone has asked me to come up with ideas. And, I think that's okay because everyone is different like that. I think that if you are struggling to come up with ideas, you've got to get away from whatever situation you're in, whether that's in a meeting, whether it's sitting at your desk, whatever it is, you've got to break that nexus because it's not going to change if you keep doing the same thing. I love mind mapping. I don't know, Karen, if you've ever used them, but I really like them. I'll post up a link to a mind mapping website, but it's kind of cool. It really helps people who, I don't know, sometimes I think I'm a real ideas person and sometimes I'm shocked at how unimaginative I can be. So I really find the mind mapping great. It's a great technique for opening up the thought processes. But yeah, I think that if you're struggling to come up with ideas, you've got to get away from whatever that situation is that you're in, that you're actually trying to come up with those ideas in. go for a walk, go for a run, go on a holiday, go and have a drink, go to bed early, whatever you have to do to get out of the same that's not inspiring you. That would be my advice, to come up with ideas. Yeah, there's lots about that actually, because I think that I'm going to post some really good articles about that, because there's also this concept that I've worked with before of creative destruction, and it's about coming up with ideas. This is really basic, so possibly not 100% correct either, but it's also can be about looking at your very own products, services, whatever it is, and looking at how you could actually improve those by coming up with something that was even better. Far too simplistic for the term creative destruction, but I'll post some articles about that, because that actually can trigger some really interesting thinking, because often when people are trying to think about ideas, new ideas for their business, they'll steer away, whether subconsciously or not, from their existing services and not wanting to, or products, not wanting to destroy them. But sometimes that's where where innovation can actually come from, by realizing that things need to be improved. And so, yes, actually looking at your own products, services, whatever it is. I actually love this topic, but I think I might stop talking. I might stop talking now, because now I'm very aware of the time and how late it is for everyone. Will I stop talking, Karen? I'll stop talking. Yep, I think I will. Will I say goodbye now? Does anyone else have any more questions? I think I just saw one pop up. Yep, cool. Hey, that's my pleasure, guys. I'm so sorry that Karen couldn't talk, because you've had to listen to my voice the whole time. And I'm sorry to be a bit of a technical non-whiz, should we say. Thanks so much. And please, if you've got any questions at all, just post them into the building site. And yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for listening to me. Bye, everyone. See ya.